Is this because you had to unblock it for me?
Yes.
Yes. Got a lovely sound, that Challenger. I'll leave you to talk that one through.
Cheers, James. Bye.
6th of August, it's Tuesday, just coming up to 5 o'clock, wet day. Haven't been able to get on with combining, nothing's quite fit. It's semi-frustrating, never been quite in this position before where we haven't been able to combine because crops aren't fit. So we're catching up with some other jobs. Got back in the office after being on Sandy's combine. We're now putting it back together, or Wes and Graham are doing the work on it, of where it looks like I've terrorised it, getting that straight. Coming looking at my post. UK Power Networks, they want to go into one of our fields. I thought pretty simple way, pragmatic way of dealing with it. I'll say to them, fine, let's agree the payment up front because we know the damage you're going to create to go from one end to the other and what you need to do to put new power lines in. So I put forward a proposal, they rejected it. They're now suggesting, but I get a land agent to come in, it's going to end up costing probably 2 or 3 times the price. I don't see the sense of it, but this is of course what we're dealing with. So unfortunately, I've now got a new battle to deal with UK Power Networks over in Bedfordshire. Written that one off. Wes Bar, Wes 1, James 1.
So we're going to head to it.
Is this because you had to unblock it for me? Yes. Freddie's getting the tram lines pulled out on this block, finishing off the winter barley cultivations. So getting blocked up there with straw, residual straw that's being left in these deep tram lines. So he's pulling these out. In some cases having to go twice, purely because they're so compacted from this really bad winter. But even 600 horsepower isn't pulling them out. So he's going once at one depth at sort of 10 inches and then coming back on himself and doing 16 inches. Kieran's on a 3-metre subsoiler on a Fendt, also doing tram lines as well. This field's going to be mould drained. Glyn's going to do that and then he's going to plough it. So quite a lot of horsepower and diesel going to be spent ready for mustard next year. But got to get rid of these deep. That's half the drainage issues we have in this field is when they put these new roads in. They sever the land drainage and then sever the drainage of the ditches. So the water gets to a point and doesn't get out across. And one of the issues we have is we get the water to the road, it's not getting out the other side. So it's holding the water back in the land and making it very wet. Even where the tine has run down the tram line. Got one there, one here. It still has actually collapsed the size of it. So it's often the second time round is going to have to do to try and get that to break up. But this drainage issues that we're suffering, you know, where these compulsory purchase schemes come in, putting new highways in, it's a major issue. And hell, I'm going to move my car. Freddie's smiling to himself. It's typical that I park my car in the way. So I think Freddie enjoyed that, me having to run to my car to suddenly move it. It's just the outside wing, just have a habit of just peeling down the side of my car. I've had a set of rolls in the side of my car before now where a guy turned on the headland, didn't appreciate the distance of my car and then rode the set of rolls up across the front of the car and back down. Not this one, but yeah, we've had a few little dings in the past. I had one Range Rover. It was only at this point 4 months old, and I had a demonstration of a New Holland combine, and they came out. I parked my car in a farmyard right out the way, so it didn't weigh of anybody. And the guy on the header trailer claimed that the tractor started up on its own, put itself in gear, and then drove across the yard directly into the side of my car and then pushed the other side of it straight into a building. Broke the windows. I was mortified. It was absolutely caved in on both sides. It was 4 months old. and the insurance company decided to do it up rather than getting me another car. And it was within £1,000 of the choice between write-off or give me another one. And unfortunately, they made a decision to do it up, and it took them about 10 months. I didn't have my car for, and the company that were doing the demonstration, I wrote to them and said, you know, please take my car off me, supply me with another car, let's move on. They didn't, and I've not done business with them since. I was so mortified. It was the first brand new car I'd ever bought, and I was so mortified that it got shoved into a building and got damaged. But anyway, I got it back after 10 months. I still got it, actually. Alexandra drives around in it now. But there's something about a car like that. It's never quite the same. So this is Raymond. Raymond and Freddie are both brothers. They've worked for me now since 2012. I took on a farm in the Fens. They were both working on it for a like an agency, and they're both from Lithuania, and they drive the two of the three Challengers, obviously being on the third. Raymond always does the Terrano work, and then he does the rolling with a 24 metre set of rolls. Freddie does the subsoiling and the jokering and the press work, and then Freddie will also do spring cultivation, spring preparation for on top of ploughing or in front of the drills. And then Glyn goes on the sprinter drill and does the drilling. So these guys have got to he'll be running at 4 inches deep with his Terrano. It's a really good tool. I think this is probably my favourite cultivator. I've got the Joker, and I like the Joker, but it's a good second pass machine. But what I like about the Terrano is it's really good for first pass. You know, you put it in at 4 inches, and it will pull it at 4 inches, and creates gets pulled through any compaction or anything like that. And then the Joker comes on top, creates a nice seedbed by just breaking it up, and then we let the weather do the rest. It's got beginning of August, so it's got 6 weeks before we might come near it to drill. Freddie will come in probably a week after this has been done, and he'll joker it, effectively levels it off, cuts it up a bit more, it's dried a bit, and then that's it. And then we go in for roundup sprays of all the weeds and everything that's going to chit and grow. Now we've stirred and mixed it up and created a bit of moisture in there for the seeds to germinate. Raymond's request to me today is new tracks, so I've ordered them a set of new tracks. Just got to organise them this afternoon to go and collect them. He's got the value out of them now. He's got no grip left, especially for primary cultivation. So you can see it spinning there. So hopefully by tomorrow he's got a new set of tracks. Yeah, so the tracks are worn out on the second crawler. So we got this brand of track on the third one, and that seems to be wearing okay. So we got these from BWT, and we're trying these out again. These cost about, a pair of these tracks are costing over £18,000 for a set of tracks. So, you know, you see how worn they are. I mean, there's literally no tread. I mean, literally, that's probably the lowest I've ever seen a track go down. Yeah, in terms of distance, we've got that much more tread than the little amount that's there. So he's losing traction. So Raymond's finding yesterday when we looked at the Terrano, he was spinning because he couldn't get the bite of the traction in the ground. Of course, then it acerbates the problem. As the tracks wear, it starts to rip the rubber, which is what it's done here. So then you get suddenly a chunk come off, and then this is the wires then show, because it's all made up of wires from side to side to side. That's how they wove them together. So now the wires are there. We didn't want to take it down the road, so that's why we decided to go and get a new set. And Raymond's having the day off today. He'll have a reset. And then Simon and Wes, they're changing the tracks, get them changed. So this tractor's all ready, serviced up, ready for him for tomorrow. And hopefully he'll see all the difference in the transformation from the old tracks to the new. We get through a set of tracks on a Challenger every 2 years. So it's quite a common thing for us to have to change the tracks. So the way they work, they've got a big hydraulic ram, but it's pushing out to keep the tension on the track. They have to pull that ram in to slacken the belt off. They then take this outside wheel rim off here, take that off, then they manage to take the track off and then put the new one on and put the rim back on. And then they put the hydraulic pipe back on. They use the hydraulics on the tractor, and it basically increases the ram, and then you push it out and push it out and push it out till it gets it tight. Got a lovely sound, that Challenger. This land I don't think has been ploughed since the year 2000. I'm sure that's the last time I really ploughed in anger, was the year 2000 on this land. So it hasn't been lifted at all in that time. Glyn's saying it's quite tight. He's ploughing at 9 inches deep. We were going at 10, but he shallowed it up a bit just to get a bit more traction. But nine still, you know, a good depth. I mean, typically people would probably go anywhere between 6 and 8. We find on this heavy clay land, if you go slightly deeper, you get a better berry of the weed seeds, and you get it to turn over better. So 1 inch doesn't sound a lot, but when you've got 12 furrows, obviously that's quite a depth difference. It's almost, you know, it's more of an additional furrow that you've just lost off the back, just to put it into perspective. So each inch incrementally obviously makes the pulling of it a lot easier. The boards are really shining up now. I love the way the rear furrow goes up and down, so that when he gets to a corner, he can back in and just plough out the corner with the rear section of 5. They're baling in the background. You can see now the CTF, you can see the wheelings where the balers are run and the combines are run, and the drills and the sprayers, etc., all the way through. So all that land in between hasn't been touched. Got one baler which is currently broken down. It's had a bearing go on the baler, so they're just waiting for the engineer to come and fix that. But they've still got at least one going. That's the beautiful thing about running a number of combines or balers or challengers, is at least if one stops, you're not 100% stopped. That's the great thing about scale, is you can keep progressing forward even if you have a breakdown, which is inevitable. To keep us combining, the dryer broke down, and what's happened is the PC's failed in it. Barry from Kentra very kindly came down on Sunday, worked out the problems, come back today being Monday, and has fitted us a new controller. This grain is all waiting now to go into the dryer. It was all we could do to keep us running in Bedford on Friday night. So we're hoping now they've just got to finish unblocking the dryer in the hoppers at the bottom, then we'll get it going and set the dryer running, and we should then be able to get this all dried, get it into store, and clear up the yard. So it's been a dryer we put it in 2008. It's done a huge tens and tens and tens of thousands. We'll be into the hundreds and something thousand tons now dried through it, and it's a fantastic dryer, and we've had it, you know, all that time. And I'll have to work out how much we've done, but if I was to guess, I bet we'd be somewhere along the lines of 150,000 tons we dried with it, and still going strong. So it's the first real time we've had a major problem with it, and it's just the PC had given up the ghost. We're in Aberdeen grain store. It's 20,000 ton grain store. I built it in 2008. We put our milling wheat in it, and we were hoping to have about 15,000 tons of milling wheat. It's now looking like it's more likely to be 12,000 tons with the way the yields are going, etc. But time will tell. So we've got 3,000 tonne of 2023 harvest in this end of the shed. We're having to keep moving that up, which is slightly problematic because as the harvest is earlier this year, we're bringing in the new wheat for 2024 harvest. The 23 is currently in the way, so we're having to run it through the dryer to bring it out of a spout at the far end to try and create us a bit of room so we can get the next set of pipes in. The secondary problem is the shed is filled via the belt on the top of the roof, and it's done so automatically. There is a tripper on the top of the belt where the belt runs up it in an S-bend, and as it does that, it throws the wheat off left and right through the two spouts, which then will fill this shed. Now the top of that heap's got to go all the way up to the white part of the belt, so it's got another 6 metres to go. But we've got an angle of oppose here of about 24 metres at the moment. But because the tripper has failed, we think the electric motor is burnt out. We need to get up there to put a new motor in, and we can't actually get to it. And our cherry picker won't reach because of the angle of oppose of the grain. So we've had to hire a cherry picker, which is 30 metres long. And it's cost £1,500 to hire, plus £800 through haulage each way. Thank you for Anglia Farmers for organising that. We're totally lost of where to find one. So they've got that coming this week, hopefully. We're fingers crossed it will turn up tomorrow. We've sent somebody today up to Normanton to SEW to go pick up the new motor, £600 motor. So that we're already now into the thousands of pounds before we've even got this put together and had an electrician out to fit it. So we've got to try and go up at an angle. We've got these metal bars that go across the roof, which could turn out to be problematic. They're there from when the store was originally built and failed on us. So we had to put these bars across to try and hold the store together. So hopefully we can get up in between, get up to the tripper up there and work on it safely. The only other alternative we had was to keep filling the store until we got the grain up high enough, and then we could stand on the grain to then work on the belt. So if this cherry picker doesn't work, that's the only secondary option we've got. So we're currently got the next lot of pipes to go in. We're moving this grain to get ready. We've still got grain waiting to go through the dryer because we're having to make the space. We're currently, the dryer is occupied filling the store for the old wheat, which is an inefficiency of not only time but also cost of having to use the dryer to move what is already dry, just so we can get it out of a spout to just create a bit more space for us. So fingers crossed. It's starting to rain outside, so I'm starting to lose colour. And I always say to my guys, don't panic unless I'm panicking, but I'm slowly starting to panic now. It's raining. So no combining, cultivations are managing to keep going, but I would feel a lot happier if we got the rest of that grain through the dryer in the shed and the other grain blended with the 12.3s or whatever we need to get an average over 12% so we can keep the milling spec and only be £10 a tonne down. Michael and Philip Horsch have built this subsoiler. It's 4.5 metres hydraulic folding. It's to try. We've been running a couple of years now. It's heavy, and you can see the tractor's tramlines are very, very hard this year. We're having to do all the tramlines, which isn't typical, just because they're so hard. So Tristan's on this one, and then Kieran's on the. We've got two Kierans, so I ought to say Kieran NZ just to show the difference between them. But are you all right, Maverick?
Yes, I'm all good, Goose.
What? You're spinning a bit.
Yeah, oh, that was just because that line wasn't ripped.
Okay.
Yeah. So
well, go twice.
Yes. Yep.
Just don't. I'd rather not have the spin.
Okay. Yep.
Because if we turn on the rims, we're jiggered.
Yes. Yep. Yep. No worries. And yeah, we couldn't get that other tine off this morning.
Okay.
So he's just still on there. We tried to take those two off, but the way just can't get those shear pins and shear bolts back out.
Right. So what are you doing then?
Oh, what do you mean?
It's just running in the ground?
Yeah, it's just running in the ground as it is.
Right, okay.
But you can still see this ground's all fracturing around it, so it's still doing its thing.
Right. I run these smaller subsoilers at 3.5 metre, for example, even though that one's slightly wider, but we're only using it within the application of CTF, you know, taking out tram lines, etc. and it gives us the flexibility that if we're stopped on combining because it's too wet or it's rained or something, we can suddenly put the smaller tractors on these type of jobs, and then they can go and do that work just to assist with the cultivations. So it just enables the big challenges to be getting on with the 12-metre work or the ploughing or the mould draining. While these go around, these can run down the road fairly quickly to, another site, go and pull out tramlines, because a lot of that type of work, pulling out tramlines, we don't typically do it year after year. It's just we do it every year, but on the Joker with the frame, which I'll show you when we do the Jokering. But we don't always have to pull out the tramlines like we are this year. But I don't think I've ever had a situation where I've had such deep tramlines, across the board. I think you can't really appreciate how awfully wet and tricky it was this winter, and we're trying to do a reset and get away from it so it doesn't plague us for year after year. But I think there's an element of, poor black grass on some bits where there's 3 fields we didn't get a pre-em on, and then we never kept control of the black grass, even though we ploughed it, and we never got those jobs done. So the black grass came, and of course now that's seeded, that's blown across the field, so no doubt we'll have to pay for that for years on end. And it's as simple as that. 1 year can change the overall outcome for future years. We used to have a 9 furrow. We used to try and turn in 18 seconds in and out. That was the skill every time. I used to time myself when I used to get to the end. We didn't turn quite like this because the plough was shorter. But Glyn finds this quicker to do it this way. Gets himself squared up again and pulled in. It's got a relatively small headland. See how the back section is up in the air. It's like doing like a light bulb now, where he sort of did his figure of 8 and now he's coming back round. Get himself straight, drop the front in. First furrow in now, second, down to about 8 furrows. Now that's it. Last 5 are in now. They are all 12. Straight down the CTF. I did get a price for a new one. It was extraordinary amount of money. It was like from memory, £130,000 for a brand new plough. Made in France. They used to dominate UK agriculture, the best on ploughs. And then they pulled out of the UK market, and then I heard last week they're now coming back in. They haven't been in situ for about 10 years. And the Mashio, they're coming under the Mashio brand, as I understand it, as the importer. Ploughing's been going on since the medieval period. It's in the Doomsday Book, biblical books. It's been going on forever. Since man cultivated the land for food, they've been ploughing. It's a slow process, but the thing about ploughing is you've got a definite seedbed there that you can then work with to drill into. So you've got plenty of soil, you've buried the stubble, you've buried the seeds. You can then have to pull a press over it or leave it for the winter and then look to drill it in the spring. We'll pull a press over this when it dries, and then we'll leave it, and that'll be it. And then we'll let it green up, etc. Trailers are finished. Got 2 of them, same type, reinforced so that they don't twist and turn. They're sitting very nice and stable. Built their bigger headboards at the front, so when they push up with a forklift like they are now, it doesn't push them all the bales into the top of the cab or the lorries. We've got the lights up there as well. Yeah, Martin's getting his exercises in, throwing the straps. It's a long way to get a strap from one end to the other, straight over. You get 36 bales on these trailers. They're a slightly longer version. You can see with the axles are spread out slightly differently. We've just got to finish painting the headboards up here, but they're out and he's on his third load now, so they're now working. So while they're waiting for us to combine, we've got 2 lorries which are moving the straw off the fields into a holding site. Then we'll come in and subsoil around here where they've operated and where they had the straw stacked. And it just removes the fire risk as well, clearing bales all the time, not having them stacked up. It's having bales long periods of time in the wrong place when you get the fires. So no, it's good, please. Get them straight into the power station and hopefully then get paid. It was lovely to see Sandy and Freya earlier and the beautiful little baby girl that they've just brought into this world, and we were really pleased to be able to give them just a little present from us. I'm really struggling to say her Christian name, and everybody keeps laughing at me because I didn't watch Harry Potter, but hopefully, Sandy, I said this right. It's Hermione. Everyone keeps saying I keep talking about the brand of clothing, but it's Hermione. I'm sure I'm right in saying that. Anyway, I've said it about 3 times. People laugh at me. You know, I got it wrong. So I'm trying to do an ending where I'm saying how lovely it was to meet your daughter earlier. And also to see you and Freya. And I'm trying to say your daughter's name's Hermione, and he keeps saying that's wrong.
It's Hermione.
Oh, Hermione. You can't even say it, Sandy. Oh, he's gone to ask his wife. He's gone to actually ask his wife, how do I pronounce my daughter's name?
Hang on. I'll hand you over, James. Hang on.
Even you can't do it.
Hello?
I'm trying to say your daughter's Christian name, and I think even Sandy's got it wrong.
Hermione.
Hermione. No.
Yeah.
Say it again.
Hermione.
Hermione. Oh, I can't say it. I just can't do it. It must. This is my Achilles heel. This word. Say it one more time.
It's ridiculous. What was that? Sorry.
Just say it one more time.
Hermione.
Hermione. Right.
Yeah.
Got it. Thank you.
No problem.
Bye bye.
I'll pass you back over.
Oh well, James, I think you and I are facing the same boat.
Even you can't do it, Sandy.
I know.
Even you, and you're the father.
I know.
I'll leave you to talk that one through.
Cheers, James.
Bye.
Bye.
So it's not just me, it's Sandy as well. We got rained off today. We're not combining. We haven't combined since Friday. Crops aren't fit. First time in a very, very long time have we been in a situation but we've had to stop to combine other than the weather. Just thought I'd answer a few questions that I've come across on the YouTube. So the Australian yields, the only way I can chat with my friends in Australia is tons, because of course they could beat me acres hands down, so we have to talk in tons to become measurable. The safety chain is a very good point. We need to fit the safety chains, the big chains on, so that if we have a pin failure, then actually at least it would be retained. Combine cost, you won't get a lot out of combines of that size below £600,000, so expensive thing, especially when you've got to buy more than one. The question about lorries, they're 500 horsepower each one, and they're all the same. Peas and beans, yes, we've grown peas and beans, and we've got peas and beans both in the ground this year, and we're going to be harvesting them. We looked at the peas today with Michael, and it's likely next week that we will be able to harvest the peas. We've got to get the peas right because of the timing, mainly because if you let it go too long and they get stained from the rain, then we lose the quality, or they start to fall over and become very difficult to pick up. So we rather combine them a little bit wetter and through the drive, and we would allow them to fall to the floor and then lose more on the floor that way. A couple of things. My poor father yesterday pedalled bike to Cambridge on his electric bicycle, which is only one step away from a mobility vehicle. And he parked up in Cambridge and he went with a friend. The friend's bicycle was stolen, his was smashed up, and they took all the battery and things, so that wasn't great for him. He was pretty upset about that. And that was in the market square in the centre of Cambridge, right in front of however many hundreds of people. So we've got thieves now in the middle of broad daylight in the day with just blatantly angle grinding padlocks, and nobody bats an eyelid. I had to pick him up in the pickup to get him home. And good news to Jarno and Emrys, who are the two young boys that came out to see us at Horningsea when we were combining, and one had the class combine and the other one had the Horsch chaser bin, but no tractor on the front. So Gavin Pell at Chandler's, who owns Chandler's, is very kindly sending here a Fendt tractor to go on the front of your chaser bin to match our setup in our field. It will be coming on Thursday, so boys, if you want to get your father to get you here on Friday onwards to the farm office, there will be a Fendt tractor waiting for you so that you've got a complete setup for your carpet farming. Thanks everybody for subscribing and watching. Always delighted with the comments and the kindness that people say. Really pleased that people are enjoying this. We're just trying to demonstrate what really goes on an arable farm and all the highs and lows that happen. And we look forward to seeing you at the weekend. Thank you.